Why are you being weird? It's just the camera. Jake, don't do. Okay. Ready? Cool? Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a special guest with me. This is my 8-year-old son, Jake.
Hello.
I thought it would be a really great idea to answer some questions through the video and to have him sitting here with me because I get a lot of stuff asked about me as a mom, challenges and things like that. I thought it would be really cool today if we kind of did like a little Q&A with each other. Jake's 8.5 years old now, so 8 going on 18, more like it. I just thought it would be really cool to let him ask questions that maybe he's wanted to know. Every once in a while, Jake asks me some things randomly about my prosthesis and the cancer and things like that. So I just thought what a great idea to share it with you all. So that's what we're gonna do today. Before we get started though, hit the subscribe button if you guys already aren't following me and my journey. Let's get started. I'm gonna start it off by just saying that when Jake was around, I think just like a toddler age was when he started noticing my prosthesis and when I would take it off and noticing that his mom didn't have 2 full functioning legs and that there was something different about me. The number one thing I think I always get asked is people, for me at least, is wanting to know how I explained it to him and how I talked about it. Honestly, there really wasn't too much into it and I really didn't have this full-on conversation with him. You guys have to just imagine at a toddler age, they're noticing that something's different. I think one of the major things was that for him and even for my other son growing up, they don't know any different. They might realize that their mom looks a little different aesthetically. That's all they know. For my youngest, who's 2 years old right now, he's starting to actually point it out and he's noticing. By the time he turns 3, 4, 5, 6 and older, that's all that my kids are gonna know. That mommy was sick and that she has a prosthetic leg and she's just like every other mom out there, you know? It doesn't make, I think, them feel any right. It doesn't make them feel any different. It wasn't any big secret as far as what I decided to tell my son. Now, I do remember as Jake got older, he did ask a few questions about it, and what I did is I kept it super simple. I do remember that I kind of told him, I didn't even say the word cancer, because let's be honest, what kid that young even knows what cancer is? So what I did do was I did explain to him that mommy got really sick when she was a little girl, and I got really sick in my leg. In order for me to get better, the doctors had to take some of my leg so that I can be here and healthy and have you and be a family with you, and just super basic talk. It wasn't really anything in depth. As Jake got older, I do remember, I don't know if it was maybe something he had watched or heard. He was more interested in it, and he actually was the one who brought up the word cancer. He asked me and I was like, okay, I guess he has heard about it. So we kind of talked about it and I told him yes, that that's what I had. But, huh?
I said I knew it.
It's just something where I personally feel like you just need to reassure your children and let them know that you're okay now. Mommy or daddy or whoever, you're not sick anymore and that you're okay and they're not affected by it. And I think that's what's the most important. And like I said, even now, Jake being 8.5 years old, there's some random questions that he'll ask me. Well, I would say throughout the past maybe 2 to 3 years, I would say was when Jake really just got more in tune with it. He understands the whole picture, like, right, you get everything. There's still times where he'll ask me some questions. He just did the other day, so I thought this would be a great idea to kind of capture this on video so we can share it with you all. Do you want to get started?
Yeah.
We'll let Jake go first.
How did it feel hopping around on one leg after a day or 2 or a week?
Like after I first got surgery? So when I first got surgery, I was literally confined to my bed. So I couldn't really get up and move or do anything.
Well, when you were let home and able to hop around on a leg.
Okay, so when I was able to actually stand up on my leg, I mean, I As far as I can remember, I think it feels the same way as it does now. Whenever like I'm standing up on my leg, it doesn't really affect my other side. It doesn't feel like anything's different.
Like, when you came home, did you, like, fall down sometimes?
No, so when I came home from the hospital, or when I had the surgery, I was still, like, living in the hospital, because at that point it was only September, and I lived in the hospital till that January, so I was still there for a long time.
Wow.
But I was able to use crutches, and I was able to use a wheelchair, and I got fitted for my leg a few months after that. So I got to be able to learn, but there wasn't really any sensation that I felt or any pain that I felt hopping or anything like that. Funny fact though, guys, when I don't have my prosthesis on, I have my crutches and whatnot, but sometimes I just don't even like using them, and I literally just get up on my leg and I just hop. I remember saying to him, let's have a contest and see who can hop on one leg for the longest. It was so funny. But no, it doesn't feel like anything. So next question.
How did you feel after you lost your leg? Like, were you sad, mad, happy? Why would you be happy?
Why would you be happy? I know, right? That's a really good question. It's so funny because I think I blocked a lot of my emotions out. I really just didn't think much of it. It was kind of just like it was my new way of life. But I was definitely sad. And I was definitely, I wouldn't say like mad or angry, but I think I was just definitely really, really sad.
Like, wow, for the rest of my life I have to hop on one leg.
Yeah,
that's sad.
That is sad, but I also knew that there was...
You would get a robotic leg?
Do you remember Jake used to call it a transformer leg? Remember that? But yeah, I think I did know, because they had talked about if I were to get the amputation that, you know, there's prosthetics that allow you to be able to walk and live like a normal life. So I don't think that was really the issue. It was more just sad of like the whole journey in general of like going through what I went through.
To be honest, it kind of does look like a transformer, except it doesn't transform into anything. What did you used to do with one leg? Would you read? Would you play outside? Would you watch TV? What would you do?
When I was in the hospital, right?
Well, hospital and home.
Well, because I was in the hospital so long after that, like by the time I got home, I had a prosthesis. When I was still in the hospital, I literally, because I was still going through my chemotherapy treatments, like to get rid of the cancer, I literally sat in bed for most of the day, watched TV, watched movies. I had visitors come a couple of times a week to visit me. They had this thing called Child Life in the hospital. It was literally a kid playroom. And you would go there, you can play games, you can draw, you can color, you can do arts and crafts. And I had physical therapy. So I had to, after I got my leg amputated, I had to do the physical therapy so I could learn how to walk on a prosthesis.
You never read.
No, I read when I was in school.
Thanks for answering those.
I wanted to ask you a couple of questions.
Bring it on.
Okay, so I think the biggest question that people probably, I'm assuming, would want to know is, how is it like having a mom that has one leg?
There's some flaws.
There's flaws. I can take it, I'm tough. What's the flaw?
You can't run.
True. Well, I've learned how to run. I mean, just to clarify, whatever, for everybody, I did learn how to run. There's actually legs out that are made for that specifically, because it has these hydraulics and whatnot in like knee joints and in foots and everything that allow that bouncing motion when you run. But my prosthetic, because it's an everyday leg, I don't have that on this particular one. If I had to do it, I could do it. How else is it like having a mom with one leg? How does it make you feel? Does it make you feel different? Do you wonder certain things?
Well, I just asked you some questions. Of course I wonder. I don't feel different.
I think it goes back to what I was saying in the beginning. For me especially, this had happened to me when I was a child. So by the time I had my children, they don't know any different. I think the biggest thing is to just obviously be honest with your children, and you'll know what to say. There's nothing you can say that's gonna be wrong. Kids are so smart. You just want to make them feel it doesn't make you any different. You can still do things with them the same. It doesn't really define you as a parent, honestly. So I think that's one of the biggest things.
Were you ever bullied in school because you had one leg?
So I actually talked about this in my first video that I did. I'll leave the link down below if you guys are interested in checking that one out. To answer your question, there were a couple times, sometimes that's just how kids are. They just pick on each other for no reason, really. And that's the thing that sucks about it. It wasn't fun, but
that's also one of many, and that's also one of the many flaws that's for school.
That is a flaw for school. So what do you think? How do you think Brady, who's my other son, who's 2, how do you think you're going to be able to help him understand mommy having one leg? Because right now, Brady is starting to really pay attention and understand.
It's like, no leg.
Yeah, he'll see me whenever throughout the day that I just don't have my prosthetic on. He'll literally like point to me and he'll point it out. He'll get really like this concerned face.
I'm confused and concerned.
Yeah, he'll point at me and be like, "Mommy leg," with like this frown on his face.
It also looked like.
Yeah, and obviously he sees my prosthesis. He doesn't say anything.
Even though it's kind of like a different shade than your regular.
Exactly, yeah.
Fake real.
That's what Jake's talking about right now. So when Brady sees me like with my prosthesis on, he doesn't say anything, and I don't think he really pays attention to it. When he sees me with it off, or if he sees my prosthesis just laying there, he'll point to it and I'll say, yeah, that's my leg. But when it's off, it's when he gets really, really concerned. But I've kind of just adapted to doing the same things with him that I did with Jake, and just letting him see it. I tell him constantly, it's okay, you know, because like a couple times he'll say, mommy, boo-boo. I don't think, honestly, he's not going to know the difference. This is their environment, and this is all that they know, so it's going to be the same for Brady. And I try to do everything and anything that I can with my kids to let them know that this doesn't define me, and it doesn't make me less of a mom. It doesn't make me any different of a mom. I think it just gets explained when your kids are ready. I think you'll know when your kids are ready. I mean, you were really young when you got super curious about it, and even Brady right now just turned 2, and he's super concerned and curious about like what's going on. You guys will know like when it is, but I think that's it, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's all for this particular video. I'm thinking about doing
like a Q&A series.
Yeah, because I have millions of questions that I get from you guys. So be on the lookout. I'll probably do more Q&A series just to make sure that I answer back to you guys. And who knows, we may have some special guests like this one today. But anyway, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in and watching today's video. And thank you to my favorite 8-year-old ever.
You're welcome.
Don't forget to, do you want to let them know?
Subscribe, like, comment. Smash that like button. Turn into the Hulk and just Hulk smash.
I should have you close out my videos all the time. Smash that like button, okay? Hit the notification button so you guys can be notified when I release more videos. And we will catch you guys next time. Mwah.